Hey, what's up YouTubers? I am Anaris. It is Monday, October 18th, 2010. Today we got a 1 versus 1 for you featuring cHoBo, the purple Protoss in the bottom left, and SharkG, who is spawning as the red Terran up in the top right, who, for this game, I'm just going to call him Shark, because sharks are awesome, even without the G. So, both players are getting off to a pretty normal start. Don't see any workers going out for any sort of proxy position or whatnot. Don't have a pylon going down just yet for cHoBo. Very likely to see that in the near future. Sure enough, there it goes right there. Pretty good positioning there. Meanwhile, up here in the Terran base, still working on 10 supply as depot goes down. So both players pretty normal there as this game gets started. Kind of excited to see how this turns out. I do indeed enjoy this map. I know I've said that a million times before, but it's a really well laid out map, and I really enjoy it. So it looks like the pylon is complete, and we have the traditional current boosting of the Nexus as soon as the pylon's done. Pretty standard so far there. Very likely to see something go down around 12 or 13 supply, as that's pretty normal. Sure enough, there goes the gateway at 12. So if we're sticking to standard builds, we're very likely to see a gas at or around 13, and continuing to put down a pylon probably at 15 or so. We'll have to see. Meanwhile, up here in the Terran base, he is throwing down his barracks, and barracks went down at 12 actually, and gas just went down right before we ticked over to 14. So still looking pretty standard, as well as this probe is going to come up here and scout the Terran player. May see a little bit of harassment on the SCV as it is vulnerable at this point in time, and currently Terran is sitting at 15 supply. Barracks is about to finish. I'm not too sure if he will. Yeah, it looks like he will, because there's a second SCV coming off of the mineral line to guard, watch his back, and sure enough, there is the orbital command dropping right at the rear end of 15, now 16 supply, because a Marine is on the way to deal with this probe. Meanwhile, down here in the Protoss space, you can see that the gas is incoming. Taking a look at the income, you can see both players actually do have a steady stream of gas from one assimilator or refinery. And it looks like cHoBo is just sitting in a couple more harvesters at this point in time, and you can tell the money is definitely a little bit better for him as well. Definitely Shark can close the gap, though, especially with this mule now taking to the field. This will certainly provide an economic advantage for Shark as he continues to pump out more Marines, it looks like, not adding any tech lab or add-ons or whatnot. So taking a look at the production tab, we can see one Stalker is on the way, as well as Warp Gate technology. Meanwhile, up here we do have a factory going down as well. So as far as the supply count goes for the Protoss player, you can see his almost supply block, not quite. He can definitely pump out a couple more units there. Looks like his Chrono Boost is probably going to wear off here in the very near future, as the Warp Gate technology is about 25% complete or so. Pylon just warped in, so he is sitting good on supply. Meanwhile, up at the Terran base, it looks like he is not going to be supply blocked either. So both players looking good on that, as we do just about have enough energy for a mule to be dropped down here in the very near future. We do have a factory with a producing a Hellion, so we might see some probe harassment here in the next couple minutes, although he is going to have to do that pretty quick because there are some Stalkers taking to the field. I believe that one is wandering around right here even as we speak. Meanwhile, we do have a Marine headed down, probably to kill this probe, who is aware of the fact that there's a Marine coming down, of course, because he has a vision. And actually, that was a pretty good move by the Terran player. He used the Marine to drive off the probe, so that way the probe would not see the Hellion coming. However, the Terran player did not plan for the Stalker to be there, and so now this Hellion is going to have to really get in and do some damage quick. But unfortunately for him, there is already a Stalker up at the top of the ramp, so he will not be able to do anything whatsoever. However, it is going to force the Protoss player to kind of play a little bit defensively for just a moment or two while he builds up a bit more. You can see that he is dropping an expansion down here as is natural, and a couple Marines hanging out at the top of the ramp, so pretty much nothing going on at this point in time. However, we do have one crazy Thor coming into the field in the very near future, so pretty fast Thor here so far. It'll be kind of interesting to see how the Protoss reacts to this, whether or not he scouts, which I don't think he'll be able to because of the fact you've got this Marines here. So you can pretty much plan on this Thor taking the Protoss player by surprise. So looking down here, Protoss is seeing kind of a defensible position right now. He's probably going to hang out, not attack in the next couple minutes, because he got these 3 sentries right now, and he is kind of in a vulnerable position because he's building this Nexus, and he really doesn't want to lose it. the money that is invested to it so far. He does have 3 warp gates right now, robotics facility on the way, so he is going to move out probably just to chase that Hellion, not do a whole lot of attacking, though like I said, he is in a great position to put down some force fields right here per se, or perhaps to block off an attack, but probably not the best for an actual offense, especially versus what the Terran player has right now, which you can see he is definitely throwing down another barracks, got a starboard on the way, Thor just about complete, so we may see some sort of Thor drop, we may see a Marine and medevac with Thor support, maybe SCVs repairing it. We'll just have to see, as, I'm sorry, that was actually the second Thor that came out right now, so, hey, it pays to be observational, right? So these rocks are now gone from the high-yield mineral, which will definitely provide Shark with some additional income should he choose to go for that route. However, I think at the present time, both players are just going to continue to macro up with what they have. Of course, this command center did just finish a moment ago. No orbital command on it just yet. However, there are SCVs transferred over, and they're going to be, looks like Shark is going to tell those SCVs to return to the mineral line there. You can see that a proxy pylon is actually going down just outside of the Terran base. So that'll be a nice hidden position to reinforce with any attack that you know, the Protoss player decides to send in the near future. However, we do have an observer here, which is going to come up, and this is actually key. This is going to show the Protoss player what he is up against. So very good pathing. A little bit of luck there by cHoBo. I wouldn't say luck per se, but definitely caught the army in the right place in the right time. So now he knows there are 3 Thors in this army, so he's going to have to plan accordingly. He definitely knows that he's not going to be able to do any sort of offensive attack with the Stalkers and the Sentries that he has, because the Thors will just simply walk over the force fields, and that'll be that. So he is doing good by getting these Immortals out into the field. He does have 1 robotics facility right now, and he has chrono boosted it. Sorry, a little hard to read on my monitor. He has chrono boosted it out, so it looks like both players are just going to continue to build up. Both of them realizing they're not in the best position, but we do have a Porta-Thor coming in here. I don't want to say Thor ship because too many people say that already, so I'm just going to call this a Porta-Thor because that sounds almost as awesome. Either that or it sounds really stupid. Either way, you guys tell me if you like it more or not. Because you can see this Thor right here is definitely doing some damage to the pylon. However, he is going to need to be evacuated very quickly or else he is going to die. And it's very close. He might... Oh, yep, he looks like he made it. So, good times were had there by the Thor. As you can see, he was able to safely get out of that encounter. As we do have another drop coming down here in the southeast portion of the base. There's a pylon here, though, so it might actually just provide vision for the Protoss player. Sure enough, he will see that coming because of the fact that the Thor has dropped down and is attacking it. The Terran player might just simply be trying to knock out the vision. He might be trying to knock out the supply, hurt the Protoss player that way. Although I would think if that was his plan, he would take this Thor back and knock off this pylon. So just a little bit of harassment done by the Terran player. While this Protoss player, you can actually see the income. It's about even, you know, of course the red is just sitting in a tiny bit more because of the mules. You can see that 2 of them are dropped right there at the natural expansion. And so far, that's pretty much all that's going on at this point. Both players kind of kicking back for a minute. You can see that the Thors are coming back to the base, and I believe this one's actually going to need to go in for some repairs here. He's dinged up pretty bad, as we do have more SCVs transferring down to the natural mineral line. Both players coming in here almost had a very close encounter with the Thors and the Marines. I think at this point in time, very likely that the Protoss could win it. However, it looks like he is going to hit the shield, and I don't know how this fight's going to go. I'm still thinking maybe the Protoss is going to barely pull it off if he is able to focus down those Thors. But the thing is, I think quite a few of those shots from the Immortals were actually on the Marines. So I don't think enough damage was done to the Thors, and you can see that the Protoss forces are whittling down. You know, I don't think there's really enough to finish that off. Maybe if he microed it really well, but I just don't think it'd be worth it. Is this one Immortal is going to indeed run in here and probably just on a rally point, he is going to die. However, he was able to take out a Thor as well. So pretty exciting stuff there. Both players, neither one of them really came out ahead in that particular fight, but you can see that, like I said earlier, the economy is looking pretty good for both players. So really, it's just a matter of them both macroing up and going at it again. You can see the Protoss player is actually realizing the fact that the Terran has cleared off the high yield. Even though he was able to delay it, he is going to have to throw up his own or put more pressure on the Terran's high yield again to keep the Terran from getting that additional income. And as we do have some SCVs coming down here to repair the Thors, very good move to keep them in the game for as long as possible. We don't see any upgrades on them just yet, but we do have the Marine Combat Shield upgrade on the way as an additional Hellion, more medevacs, and we do have Weapons 1 on the way for the Protoss players. So that'll be done in just a minute, which will definitely help the Immortals get an advantage and to hopefully take down some of these Thors here as we progress further into the game. We do have several medevacs here at this point. We do have a considerable number of Marines, and I actually want to make note of that because this early Thor build, he's forced the Protoss player into investing a lot of money into the Immortals. You can see that he is now pumping off of 2 robotics facility, and, well, none right now because he's supply block, but he is pumping off of 2, so he is having to go very Immortal heavy, and with the Terran player switching to this heavy Marine build, this will actually catch the Protoss player off guard. So pretty excited to see what happens here, as I'm sure there will be a combat in the near future, as we do have several SCVs coming off of the mineral line to maybe go, no, just kidding, I guess they were just mismicroed there. Not too sure what's going on. Meanwhile, up here or down in the Protoss base, we can see that a Templar Archives was dropped. Psystorm is on the way, so we might see some good Psystorms. If the Protoss player is able to land some solid Psystorms on the Terran and take out those Marines, it should make his job a lot easier, especially since he has so many Immortals now. I think he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's about 8 Immortals or so. So here comes the fight. Right here, it looks like the Terran player is going to move in, try to catch the Protoss player just a little bit out of position, and you can see that the Protoss player is withdrawing back just a little bit because he knows that his forces are spread out. And we do have two Templar in the field here. However, they only have enough energy for 1 storm apiece, and it looks like the Psystorm was just completed. However, he did have to retreat because, you know, he didn't have Psystorm when the Terran player was attacking that expansion. So if he had attacked then, it just wouldn't have gone well for him. So I think maybe he might go run attack. Sorry, I had a bit of a cough there. So anyways, both players are getting ready to go into a big engagement. We might see some Psystorms. If he's going to do it, now is the time, because they are still bunched up just a little bit. There's one Psystorm right there. There's a second one. Kind of overlapped. It probably wasn't the best positioning. Could have put it a little bit farther up and taken out some more of these Marines. However, I don't think this is going to go too well for the Protoss. As you can see, just the amount of Marines, also some Marauders, plenty of medevacs in there to heal. So pretty much great tech switch, actually, by the Terran player. So very exciting game, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And this actually looks pretty freaking awesome. I'm going to leave you guys with this. This is an Immortal exploding.